Welcome to Love of the Game. I'm your host, SJ, and joining us for our NBL1 East podcast, episode 4 is Mason Bragg, the playmaker, the maestro, the leader. How are you today, Mason, man?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. How are you going?
Not too bad. Thanks for asking. I'm very excited for the show. I'm actually going to put up my list of top 5 imports and locals to watch out for. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but you're definitely one of my top 5. I just love the way you play the game. So, ladies and gentlemen, kick back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Then you come outside, now inside, Christian. That's how they give you hundreds of pounds. Now you know you're spitting. You got the whole world vibing the same. You ain't doing it to rock and change. You got love for the game.
Now, before we start the show, I'd like to thank our 2 major sponsors. You can see their logos there, Beneath the Surface and Pinpoint Physio. For Beneath the Surface, life can get tough and put you in difficult situations, but you can face the tough times by unlocking your true potential through the power of breathwork. Take the first life-changing step by booking your session with Beneath the Surface today. And also Pinpoint Physio. Got an injury, ongoing pain? The team at Pinpoint Physio can treat everything from sports niggles to workplace strains. Pinpoint team also run the Shire Fracture Clinic, a top alternative to spending hours in emergency. Let their physios and doctors work together to get you back on your feet faster. Give the team at Pinpoint Physio a follow on Instagram for more information and swing by the clinic. Remember, when your body's letting you down, they've got your back. Now, Mason, man, how was your off season? I know you had a great trip there to America. How was it, man?
Yeah, it was really good. I don't normally take holidays this close to the season just because it kind of disrupts your preparation and you kind of miss out on a chunk of training. But it's kind of a trip I've been building up for probably the last 3-4 years to see a really good friend of mine play over there in college. So it was really good, and that really meant a lot to me to get over there and watch him play. So it was really good, really good.
And how was the experience like? I know, like, sort of the college basketball environment is kind of, I still don't understand why they get so mental over college basketball. What was that like, and kind of what was the crowd and atmosphere like over there?
Yeah, they're super passionate. I feel like in Australia, a lot of people just watch basketball for sort of leisure, just for something to do. But I feel like over in the States, people have lots of passion and pride for their sporting teams, and it's only just starting to build here in Australia with the NBL. It's kind of building up a bit more now, but just the passion and pride they have for their team and the genuine love they have for seeing their team succeed is completely on another level. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, it's mental there, man, especially the March Madness. Like, I don't watch college basketball. Once March Madness hits, I'm tuned in, locked in. Now, I want to talk about the guy that you went to see, Rainer Smith from Louisville. I saw a great quote there. Like, you put up a picture of a caption, a moment that means more to me than my own achievements. Who is Rainer Smith, and what does he mean to you?
Yeah, so me and Rainer, he's quite a bit younger than me, but we started training together when we were both back in Tassie. I just got back from playing professionally, and he was just coming up the ranks in the junior programs in Tassie, and I didn't have anyone to train with, so I just sort of hit him up and sent him a message and seen if we could start training together because I needed someone to shoot with, and it all kind of just, the friendship kind of just flowed from there. We started working out and shooting every day, and we probably did that for a good couple of years before he got picked up to the AIS. But we became super close. Obviously, anyone that plays sport knows that when you spend a lot of time playing sport with someone, you just naturally gravitate towards them and start hanging out with them more. And we became super close. And he's someone that is in my inner circle these days. And I think the same can be said for him. But yeah, we're super close. And, like, just to see where he came from to where he is now, it's just been a massive achievement, and I'm super proud of him to see where he's at today. He's like just such a humble and easygoing kid that, like, it's so good to see someone like that succeed. And when you've played at the level I have, but you didn't quite make it to college, or I didn't have a super long NBL career, it's really cool and special to see a good friend of mine have even bigger success than what I had. And I kind of get that, like, that little feeling that I guess that dads have for their kids, or big brothers have for their little brothers when they see their family members do well. And it probably didn't hit me as much. I didn't think it was going to hit me as much as it did until I actually got there. And the first time he got called out onto court for the first game that I watched, I actually was trying to film it, and I actually shed a tear when he was running out on the court. So yeah, it just meant so much for me to see him go over there and play. And like I said, I truly mean that getting to walk him out on his senior night in front of 20,000 people honestly meant more to me than anything that I've ever achieved playing basketball. And yeah, I really couldn't be more happier for him.
And looking back, bro, that was probably the best text message he's ever received for you to sort of train him up, because, bro, as a player, getting to learn and, as I said, play with a playmaker like yourself, could only elevate your game. So I'm guessing he wouldn't be where he is without you also. And what was the highlight of the trip so far? Like today, what was the highlight of the trip in America?
To be honest, I know we just spoke about it, but walking him out on senior night was probably the coolest experience that I've had. It was really, really special. He's just come such a long way, and to be with his family and be standing up there with his family on senior night was something that I'll never forget. So that was really cool, and seeing him play and seeing him hit a few threes, and man, I'm just so proud of him. It was such a wicked experience.
Now, look, before we move on to the whole NBL1 East and especially the NBL1 Blitz that we're going to be talking about, I want to ask you, man, because look, I know you kind of would have walked him out on his senior night, and you're a baller yourself. As you said, you kind of played at the NBL, your career didn't kind of take off. If you were going to talk to a young kid that is kind of going to go through that experience, the whole college pathway, or even in Australia, staying local, what message can you give to any young kid that can kind of help elevate their game?
Well, I guess it's kind of something that I actually honestly learned from Rain a bit. I'm someone that can get pretty down on myself when things don't go my way, and I can get pretty lose a bit of confidence if I don't play well, or if I don't have a good shooting night, or if I have a few turnovers. But just to stay super even heeled, that guy Rain, he obviously shows a bit of emotion when he's playing well, but when something doesn't go his way, or he doesn't play a lot, or if he has a bad game, his emotions don't change at all. He's just ready to move on to the next thing. And I think that's super huge in how he's carried himself and how he was able to reach the level that he has, because things don't always go your way in basketball, and it's how you bounce back from your failures that really shows the true players. So that would be a big one, I think, for any player looking to go to college or aspire to play NBL or professionally overseas.
Oh, beautiful, man. Well said. Now, look, let's talk about the NBL1 Blitz that you guys partaked in last weekend at Penrith. I saw that was a lot of media day, man. What was that experience like, and how much fun did you have with it? Because I want to give a special shout out to Caleb Fogarty, who's kind of taken over the whole Basketball New South Wales and NBL1 East content. Last season, I didn't see that much content from the NBL1 East, but this season it's kind of taken another level. How did you guys enjoy that experience?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was cool to see Caleb come in, someone who's really passionate about grassroots basketball, and he's really putting in time and effort into making the NBL1 East a special place for players to get some exposure, and treating it, this is our NBL and this is our NBA. So he's really treating it like that, which is really cool to see. And it makes it really cool to be part of the NBL1 East for sure.
No, definitely. And I don't know if it plays a part, but man, some of the signings that has come into the NBL1 East this season has been amazing. And I know you've kind of kept track of it also, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Now, I want to talk about your two games in the Blitz. You guys dominated 73-51 victory over Newcastle and 84-70 up against the Penrith Panthers. What went well for you that weekend, and what's exciting you the most for this season?
Yeah, definitely came out of the weekend a lot more confident about where we're at as a team than I was before we went into. Obviously, I was away before the Blitz and didn't get to scrimmage with them against Hornsby the week prior, but we have a pretty new team. We've got 2 or 3 guys that have come in that are heavy rotation players, and it's you don't really truly gel with your team until you get out there on the court and start playing a real 5-on-5 game. But yeah, the Newcastle game was a really good test for us, because they're obviously a pretty big and experienced team. But yeah, we honestly just started clicking from the start, and things worked really well. And Newcastle made a bit of a run late in the game, and they brought it back to 1 point, I think, at the end of the third quarter. But like I said earlier, the true character of a team, and individual players, how you bounce back from little runs and failures. And we made a few mistakes late in the third, but we were able to bounce back in the fourth, and we really pushed through, and we really played well together as a team, and we don't have any ego. So it's a really good experience, and I really enjoy playing with this team.
Yeah, because man, last season, honestly, I loved watching you guys play. It was like everyone just knew their roles. Everyone knew where to be, and it was a well-coached side. Now, I know you guys are missing Jonas Harper this season. We're going to talk about the actually, wait, before we move on, bro, how was the weather? Because I know it was about 36, 37 degrees that weekend.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you coming back from America and then bang, playing in that weather?
Yeah, it was like playing in a sauna. I know our import Preston was a bit worried that this is what it was going to be like every week, but we reassured him that this was sort of a once-off weather phenomenon. It doesn't normally get this hot in the stadium, and being out in Penrith, obviously there's no sea breeze, so it was 10 times hotter than it was out here on the beaches. But yeah, it was good. It was good. It was good to sweat out all the American food in the first game. So I didn't mind getting quite hot, so it was all right.
Yeah, because man, I was going to come to the NBL1 Blitz and I was full excited, full keen for it, and I saw the weather, and because of my sort of like my accident, I have to kind of wear like long sleeve clothes to prevent myself from like skin contact. And I was like, bro, if I go in there, bro, I'm going to die. So I was like, I might just give it a miss, man. So, but I want to talk about Preston Purifoy, your new import signing. What can we expect from him?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I kind of knew you were going to ask this question, so I was thinking about it a little bit before I jumped on. And yeah, honestly, they're pretty same from Jonas last year, but just they have obviously their unique differences. But Preston can shoot the ball. He's really good defensively. He's a good athlete. He can get to the foul line. He can kind of score at all three levels, which means he can score inside, he can score from the mid range, and he can score from the 3-point line, which is going to be super handy for us. I guess he's also, I think he's like 6'7", so he adds a bit of size for us as well too. So he'll have a bit of versatility on the defensive end. He'll be able to guard some 4 and 5 men, and he'll also be able to guard some point guards and wing plays as well too. So he's also a crazy athlete. So we'll be expecting a few highlights from him for sure.
Yeah, because last season you were a bit small, on the smaller side as a team. I know Matthew Eldridge was your big, and you had Uday also. But I love Uday, man. His sort of energy off the bench was something to behold. But I also want to talk about Matthew Eldridge, my Detroit Piston, Michigan boy. Shout out Matthew. Hey, we made it. Detroit Pistons are finally making some noise. What can we expect from Matthew Eldridge this season?
I honestly think the same as last year. He's obviously Mr. Consistent and definitely a very underrated player in the NBL1 East. Like we always kind of joke around that he doesn't get many dunks, and honestly, I think that's probably why he gets underrated so much, because you've got some pretty big highlight guys like Bryant last year, and I forget the guy who played at Inner West last year, who's playing for Hills this year. Like these guys are crazy athletes that are getting dunks and doing highlight plays, and Matty doesn't really get up there and give you these high flying plays, but he's super consistent from the outside. He's super consistent from the mid range, and I think he might have led the league in rebounding as well too, just quietly as well. And he's really good defensively too, and he's also a pretty good passer and a really great teammate. So these are all things that kind of get overlooked because he doesn't have these monster 40-point and 20 rebound games and give us windmill dunks, but he's definitely one of the biggest contributors on our team for sure.
Yeah, because he was Mr. Efficient also, man. He's got to shoot the 3 ball a bit more because, man, he was shooting at a crazy clip also last season. And also Preston, bro, I was checking out his page recently. I think he's a personal trainer also, so he'd have no trouble running up and down that court.
Yeah, definitely. I've already asked him for a bit of advice on strength and conditioning and stuff, so I'll definitely be taking that on board.
Now, one of your signings that's come from the Inner West, from Hills Hornets, Jamie Munro. I know last season he was kind of playing probably 4th fiddle at the Hills Hornets. What can we expect from Jamie Munro at the Manly Seagulls?
Yeah, I honestly think. I mean, I'm not quite sure where Tim's got him marked for our rotation this year, but honestly reckon it's going to be a massive breakout year for him. I see him do stuff at training that I haven't seen a young kid that age doing for a while. He's super athletic, super mobile, really good defensively, can shoot the ball really well, and I think he's been training with the Sydney Kings just as a training player to help out with the numbers in the off season. So his development's going to be massive over the next few months, and I reckon he's going to help us a lot this year. So yeah, we're super fortunate to have him, and also another young kid, Jack Giddens, as well from Hills, who's one of his good mates, is playing for us as well too, and they're going to be massive for us this year.
Now, I know in the off season you kind of would have been keeping up to date with the whole NBL1 East signings, and I just want to pull out a quote from Baby Chol, which he provided to Love of the Game. The league has grown so much in just a year. I'm really excited for this upcoming season. Shout out to the NBL1 East for bringing so much talent to our conference. And the NBL1 East 25 season, the talent across the board is impressive. Every game is going to feel like a playoff game. If you're not at your best every night, it could make the difference at the end of the season. Have you guys kind of talked about the importance of starting strong because of the quality? Because I know last year there was a few teams that kind of struggled mightily, but even those teams have recruited well. Have you guys talked about how important this season is and how important it is to start strong?
To be honest, not really. We can't get too distracted in focusing all these big name players that get signed. Obviously, it's really great for the league and it's going to be really fun to play against them all. But we're just focusing on what we control, and that's how we get through our offensive structure and defensive structure and how we gel as a team. And then I'm sure once game day rolls around and we start doing some scouting for those teams, that's when we'll start to worry about it. But obviously this year is going to be tough, but we're just taking it one game at a time at the moment. So yeah,
because last season, man, the Manly Seagulls, you guys finished third. You did get bounced in back-to-back games up against Maitland and then the Red Hot Sydney Comets in the quarterfinals. What lessons have you taken from last season that you can kind of input into the 2025 season?
Yeah, yeah, it's a tough one to answer because the Comets game was kind of just a game that was kind of out of the blue for us. We hadn't played that badly all year, so it was kind of tough to finish on that. And honestly, haven't really thought about it, to be honest, too much because it was one I just kind of threw over my head and straight into the bin. But I think we just have to be more together as a group. I think we kind of fell apart pretty quickly once Comets got ahead of us, and I think we got to learn how to play from behind. Where I think last year, especially playing at home, we were leading from the front, and we maybe were front runners a little bit. And when things were going great, we were up at home, we were up and about, and everything was good. And as soon as we hit a bit of adversity in that Comets game, we kind of just fell apart. And I probably take ownership in that, being the captain and the leader of the group, and probably not holding the guys together as well as I probably could have in a big game like that. So that part's probably just mainly on me. And I think Tim's done a good job of changing a few bits and pieces here and there. And we've definitely got a team that can definitely probably outmatch our team that we had last year. So I'm looking forward to this season for sure.
Yeah, it's exciting to hear, man, because I love watching your squad last season. And man, I got to admit, that Comets game really, really surprised me, bro, because you really literally went toe-to-toe with Maitland Mustangs the game before. And then, just came out flat. So looking for a bounce-back season from you guys, and I can't wait to watch it. Now, I want to talk to you as a point guard, a playmaker, and a leader for this squad. What excites you the most about playing with this squad? Like, is there one or two plays in particular where you go, hey, man, I think that we're going to gel really nicely, where we can kind of take that next level and kind of finish in that top 4 spot again this season?
Yeah, to be honest, I really love all the players we've got this year, and there's one player especially, Isaiah Lee, who was a Manly junior who's come back to play for us this year, and we're pretty similar players, and I know that I've had a few people ask how we're going to play together because we're so similar, and we're both pretty ball dominant guards, but I can tell just in the preseason from how we play off each other in the fast break and in the half court that I'm really looking forward to playing with another explosive fast guard as well too. So I think that's going to be a massive, massive difference for us this year, and I'm looking forward to playing with him so much.
If you were to pinpoint one aspect of your game that you kind of need to improve or change or kind of fit into the rest of the squad, what would it be for this season?
I probably need to work on my off-ball defense. I can get a bit slack at times. I'm out there for quite a bit of time, and I know I switch off a bit and probably give off too many offensive rebounds and a few too many back cuts as well. And I know that kind of hurts us, and I need to fix that. And it's kind of just more of a mental thing than a physical thing for me. And I obviously am always looking to improve my leadership each year. And I know just from guys on the team, you might not notice it as much, but there can be times where I can get pretty angry at guys and probably speak to guys in not the greatest tone. I'm just in the heart of battle and trying to win, and probably not thinking about how much I'm making other people feel. So that's something that Tim's spoken to me about, and something that I'm trying my best to improve this year as a leader for the group. So it's hard, but I'm definitely doing my best to try work on it this year.
So can we expect to see Mason Bragg on the court again for like 40 minutes a game this season?
As much as I complain about how sore I am the next day after the game, during the game, there's no way I want to be taken off. I know Tim's got to do what he's got to do, and he'll sub how he sees fit. But I definitely want to be out there for as long as possible. So, yeah.
Because that's one thing. Anytime I kind of talk about Mason Bragg, and I always bring that he never cheats the game, man. Like, as I said, like last season, you were leading the league in assists. You pretty much do everything for Manly, like the ball's in your hand. But if there's a loose ball, you die for it. I still remember that Inner West Bulls game, bro, where you dove into the stands, you came back onto the court and got the N1 and things like that. Like, as a leader, that's what you want from your leader, man. So you're doing a great job. And if you can fix those things that you need to fix up also, then the sky's the limit for this squad. Now, I want to talk to you about that. Oh, sorry, yep.
I guess on the flip side of that, like I'm doing the hustle play that end, but what you might not see in 3 possessions is I'm extremely exhausted. I give up a back cut on an offensive rebound, so I've got to work on sustained, switch and engage, and probably working as hard as possible, and then actually telling Tim that I need a sub instead of just trying to coast through certain parts of the game. So yeah.
Yeah, low key, I don't think you're going to tell Tim that anyways. Between us.
No, I won't. I definitely won't be telling him to take me off. So yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you, from the whole NBL1 East recent signings, is there a name in particular that excites you where you can't wait to match up against them?
God, there's probably a list of like 4 or 5 guys that have been signed that I'm looking forward to play against. I mean,
let's go. Give me top 3.
I'd say Jason Giddy is always fun to play against. I've played against him in the NBL when I was playing for Perth, and I played against him in the North, and we've always had pretty good battles. I don't think I've actually ever beaten him in a state league game, but I always enjoy playing against players that I looked up to him growing up when he was playing NBL, and I was a young kid growing up in Tassie. So it's always good to play against those guys when you're a bit older, and you can at least kind of semi-match it with them. So he's one that I'm really looking forward to playing against, and Todd Blanchfield as well too. And any guys that come down from the NBL level, I'm really looking forward to playing against, especially just to kind of show and prove to myself that I can compete and play with those guys still. So yeah, I know Kobe McDowell-White as well too, who's playing for Illawarra. He's a really young, exciting player, and he goes super hard, and he's super fast and athletic, and he's someone I enjoy playing against. And I find that when you play against players like that, you kind of you bring your game up at another level, and sometimes it can make you play really well, and sometimes you get in your own head a little bit and focus too much on the one-on-one matchup. But yeah, Kadeem, Blanchfield, and McDowell-White are definitely 3 guys I'm looking forward to playing against, just in terms of a talent standpoint.
Now, talking about the whole Illawarra Hawks, Dave O'Hickey pretty much playing for the Albury Wodonga Bandits last season, the NBL1 East, but he took his game to another level this season. You came up against him multiple times last season. Did you expect that growth from him, especially to win finals MVP?
No real surprises at all, to be honest. I actually was thinking about it when I was watching the game. I remember playing against him in one of the NBL combines, probably maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, and he was only really young then. I'm not sure how old he is now, but he was really young back then. And I remember there was a bit of buzz about him, and we were playing against each other in the show court, and I kind of said, I don't know who this guy is, but everyone's talking about him, and I'm going to try lock him up. And I remember he was just so fast and athletic and used his body so well and was super aggressive, and he got to the foul line a couple of times, and I actually couldn't guard him, and I was like, geez, this kid actually is fairly good. And ever since that point, he's just skyrocketed up the charts, and I'm super happy for him. I'm happy for any Australian basketball player to make their name in the NBL. But yeah, no surprises at all. I think what was massive for him in that game 5 was Trey Kelly III, I think is it, that came back out of injury, and he kind of played the point a bit more and let Dave O'Hickey kind of just do his thing. You don't even have to run any plays for him. He just kind of makes Hickey just kind of makes things happen out of nowhere, which is kind of what happened in Game 5, and he plays with so much energy and passion, and it's really cool to see. And he definitely deserves all the flowers he's getting at the moment.
Nah, definitely. Yeah. And that's one thing that excites me about the whole NBL1 East. It's kind of like you got Dave Hickey, you got Alex Higgins-Tisha kind of like cementing their spots in the NBL. For yourself as a sort of a leader and a vet of the NBL1 East and NBL1 concept, do you feel like the younger players are kind of taking note of this and they're actually getting more excited to play in the NBL1, that they know that, look, hey, man, we can actually make some noise in the NBL?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously since NBL branded all the state leagues and marked it as NBL1, it's definitely grown the exposure for all the leagues, and I think everyone can kind of see the NBL1 as a real spring point to get themselves into the NBL with the branding and just the exposure, and you've got a lot of NBL coaches now coaching in the NBL1 East and the NBL1 North and all the other NBL1 conferences, and you've got so many different NBL players playing in the NBL1. It's such a good place for a junior to really expose themselves to the NBL level.
Yeah, because you're making a great point there about the coaching also, because a lot of these coaches will come into it saying like, you know what, hey, if we do make some noise, we can be seen for like assistant coaching jobs or video jobs or anything like that. And even personally for me, man, last year when I started this whole NBL1 East sort of podcast and coverage, I didn't know nothing about the NBL1 before that. I didn't know nothing about NBL1 East. I kind of knew only Sharif Sapir from playing like street ball, and then kind of saw him playing for, I think at that time was the Hornsby Spiders. And then I was kind of like, hey, man, what is the NBL1 East? Because I saw this guy was killing everyone, and then I covered the league, and now it's kind of bad. Everyone knows about the whole NBL1 and NBL1 East, especially in Sydney, because I think NBL1 East was kind of the lowest sort of ranked conference, if that makes sense. But now I feel like it's kind of taken another level. And then with the additions of Jason Kadee, Todd Blanchfield, Kobe McDowell-White, I just feel like it's gone through the roof again. So, yeah, man, as a competitor, how much does it kind of egg you on? They go, you know what, man, hey, we've got some serious competition this season.
Yeah, it motivates you a lot more, you know, when you realize you've got, you know, 400 or however many games Jason Kadee's played coming back to play in the NBL, and you know, I think we're playing Bankstown at our own place as well too. So you know, you don't want to be shown up by these guys on your home court. So it definitely adds a bit more fuel to the fire and gives you a bit more motivation to play super hard. And yeah, I'm really excited, and the talent pool is going to be pretty amazing this year.
Now, I want to ask you on a personal note. Look, I know Malin Mustangs were kind of like your bogey squad last season, especially William Cranston-Lown. William Cranston-Lown's gone now to the NBL1 South, and the Malin Mustangs have replaced him with Mandrill Worthy. They've also lost Matty Gray. How do you feel like Mandrill Worthy will fit in with that Malin Mustang squad, and can they defend their crown this season?
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Obviously, Mandrill and Will Cranston-Lown are obviously both really, really good players, and they're obviously very different players as well too. Will Cranston-Lown is probably more that point guard, ball dominant player, where Mandrill plays off the ball a little bit more and is kind of a ball dominant sort of two-man. So it'll be really interesting to see how they integrate him into the team. But Mandrill's obviously was All-Star 5 last year and a really, really tough player, so I'm sure he'll have no issues fitting in with that Maitland squad in there. They've obviously got a bunch of veterans who've been playing for a long time, so I have no doubt that they'll adjust to Mandrill's playing style, and they'll definitely be a team to beat, and they'll definitely be looking for, you know, a top 3 finish. And with that home court advantage, you know, they're probably going to win at least 80% of their home games right off the bat with that home court advantage. So and they're pretty well coached as well too. And what's Christian Little as well too is coming back, and he's really good defensively, and he was a pretty good stakeholder for him last year as well too. So yeah, they'll certainly be tough.
Nah, beautiful. And you made a point that I just want to bring up. You mentioned the All-Star 5. I feel like you probably could have deserved to be in the All-Star 5 squad with the season that you had last season, averaging 19 points, 9.4 assists, 6.5 rebounds, and 2.1 steals a game. As a player, man, does that kind of burn you, or do you kind of just go, who cares, sort of thing?
Yeah, good question. As much as I'd like to sit here and say like, oh, it doesn't really faze me and it doesn't matter, you know, that I do put a lot of work into my game, and I pride myself on how many hours I spend in the gym and working hard to become a really good basketball player, and to maintain how good I am as a basketball player. And you know, like I guess it does kind of like hurt a little bit, because, you know, you put so much energy into it, and, you know, you have a good year. But at the end of the day, I'm not doing all this work for an individual reason. I'm doing it for team success, and I want to win NBL1 championship. So, you know, if it doesn't really phase me, I guess I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent. I don't really know how to answer that question, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really know how to answer that question, but I mean, NBL1 championship's obviously my main goal, but it would have been nice to see my name called out in that All-Star 5. So yeah, it's going to be super tough this year. So I guess last year was probably my only chance. So it's going to be tough this year to sneak in.
Beautiful. Fingers crossed, man. Because look, if Manly are to kind of finish in that top 4 again this season, I feel like you could be in the running. Now, I want to talk about your round 1 matchup up against the COE. I'll be honest, I have no idea who's in the COE squad. Do you know anything about the COE squad currently?
Yeah, they've got a couple of Tassie players that I grew up playing with and against. A few young guys, Nash Walker and Jacob Furphy. Jacob Furphy's just committed to UConn, so I'm not sure how much of the season he'll get through, but I'm assuming he'll be playing a few games. And Nash Walker's I don't know how tall he is now, maybe 6'4", 6'5" point guard as well too. And I'm not sure if he's looking to go to college or stay here and play in the NBL, but those are 2 players that I know really well. Apart from that, I'm not sure who else they've got, but you know, they'll obviously be playing super hard. They're all aspiring young basketball players who are trying to impress their coach and trying to get recruited to colleges and trying to get scouted by NBL teams. So no doubt that they're going to be tough. So we play them in Canberra as well too.
Yeah. Do you enjoy those road trips?
No, not at all.
No.
I don't like the road trips at all. No, I've done too many of them throughout my career, and I just enjoy playing the home games and spending as much time at home as possible. You know, I've obviously do work a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, so I really enjoy my weekends at home, and unfortunately, road trips kind of eat into that. So, I mean, obviously they're fun. You know, sometimes they're fun, especially when you win, and if you stay the night and have a night out with the boys and stuff is always good fun. But yeah, I'd rather just be playing all my games in Manly, if I'm honest.
Big friend, you talk about your 9 to 5 job. I know you do a lot of disability support. How rewarding is that sort of that job for you? And do the kids kind of know that, hey, Mason Bragg's a baller? And do you ever take them out to the basketball court and kind of show them the ropes a bit?
No, they honestly don't care at all that I play basketball. So, you know, I love my job, and it's a really good distraction for me. And you know, when I get to work, I have my work stuff that's 9 to 5, and then when I leave work, I kind of forget about that, do my basketball. So, it's a really cool balance that I have here working with my clients, and it really it really warms my heart to see those guys happy in 9 to 5, and it really makes me feel very grateful and lucky for what I have in life, and you know, to see what some of these kids go through, and you know, to see that they can still have a smile on their face at the end of the day really opens my eyes to what's important. So yeah, I really enjoy my work I do, and it's a good blend to have with my basketball. So yeah.
No, definitely well said. Now, another interesting thing that's going around the whole Manly sort of area and district and Manly basketball is Hoops House, a newly basketball center created there. I know Tim Hill's kind of the founder of it. How's Hoops House been, and how's it kind of improving the Manly Warringah basketball juniors?
Did Tim message you and ask you to bring this up, or no?
Nah, because man, I saw a few of the King of the Court that they have done, Queen of the Court, and also the father. The parent kid competition that they had running, and I love that stuff, man. For me, that's literally what it's all about. So having you on the show, I'm like, man, I got to ask you about it.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's been really cool to see how Tim's grown the Hoops House, and I think it's only been open. I think open end of January, so February, March, April. Yeah, so it's only been open like 2.5 months at the moment. So and it's really grown pretty rapidly in that time. And I was actually down there, just finished working out when they had their family buckets challenge. When they had I think it was like a father son or a mother daughter or whatever combo you can have. Free throw competition, and the place was packed. There was probably 100 people in there, 150 people at one stage. I'm not sure how many people they got through the door, but yeah, it was really cool environment to see everyone's families come down and compete together, and it was really cool. And they obviously had the one-on-one challenge as well too, where they had some kids come down and play for some pretty cool prize money. And it's really cool just rocking up to the gym and seeing just random guys playing each other in 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 and 3-on-3, and it's something that the Northern Beaches was really needed. So it's really cool to see, and it's working really well. And I'm excited to see where else it's going to take Hoops House.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I saw there was a lot of those sort of basketball academies and clinics and centers here in the Western Sydney, but I didn't hear any in the sort of northern beaches. So once you created that, I was like, hey, bro, that's beautiful. Now, before we end the show, I've got 5 love of the game questions for yourself. We'll start off with number 1. 5 seconds to go on the shot clock. Who are you finding the ball for the game-winning 3? Who are you trusting?
Apart from myself?
Yeah, apart from yourself, you got to pass it. So who are you trusting your squad?
Yeah. Probably Matthew Eldridge, probably.
Would he shoot it? I reckon he'd fake pump it and then run out of time.
You know what? Isaiah Lee has really impressed me with his shooting at the moment, so I'd back him to get a shot off in time. Isaiah or Matt Eldridge, but to be honest, it wouldn't matter who it is. I'm hitting anyone as long as they make the shot. So,
and or love to you, Matthew Eldridge. I want you to shoot the ball more, man. There was a lot of times last season he got the ball, and I'm like, he's gonna shoot it. Nah, he'll fake pump it or do something else with it. Shoot that ball. Number 2. If you could go back in time to the start of your NBL career, what would you tell your younger self?
Jeez, what would I tell my younger self? Probably a lot of things, eh? Yeah, I guess we sort of touched on it earlier, and it's kind of hard when you grow up in Tassie and you kind of used to being one of the better players on the coast, and then you kind of get thrown into the deep end with all these great players, and you kind of get down on yourself, and you think you're not quite as good as what you actually are. And I guess I just tell myself to not get so down on myself, and things will be okay, and things will work out in the end. And basketball is just a sport, and sometimes you get caught up if you have a bad game. You think you're a bad person, or you lose a bit of self-worth, and I think that's something that I've worked on a lot and I've gotten a lot better at. I'd tell my younger self that just because you have a bad game, basketball doesn't change who you are as a person, and that probably would have helped my confidence levels a lot when I was a younger person, for sure. So that's probably something I'd tell myself.
Beautiful. For any young kids or listening to this, man, Will Hickey, I think he had an interview after the grand final where he said, bro, no one believed in me. I believed in myself. And that's pretty much where it starts and ends. If you believe in yourself, you can kind of achieve anything. So yeah, definitely that's a great sort of piece of advice. Number 3, is it harder to defend Bryce Cotton or score on Damian Martin?
That's a really good question. That's a really, really good question. Did someone actually ask that, or was that something you just thought of?
No, it's someone AET training. So it's one of your boys.
That's actually a really good question. I would say if it was like a one-on-one scenario where we were playing, just from the top of the key, I would probably say it would be harder to score on Damian Martin, I think, is what I would have to say. I hate saying it because, but it's definitely true. It's definitely harder. I remember one preseason training, he just came in from holiday and he came back and was just looking to get back in shape, and he played defense on me for like 15 minutes and I didn't even get a shot up. So, definitely harder to score on Damian Martin for sure. That's a really good question.
No, beautiful. I should have taken credit for it.
Yeah, you should have, yeah.
Question number 4. Which player will give you the most assists this season?
Ooh, probably Matt Eldridge, to be honest. He probably, between him and Jonas last year, would have gave me majority of mine. But yeah, I'd say Matt Eldridge.
Matt Eldridge?
Yeah,
no pressure.
Yeah, Matt Eldridge for sure. Yeah, no pressure.
And the last question, can Manly win the NBL1 East this season, and why?
Well, absolutely. We wouldn't be suiting up and doing all this preseason training if we didn't believe we could win it. I definitely believe right now where we're at, I definitely believe we're probably sitting in that, top 5, anywhere between 6 and 4 at the moment, I think is probably where we're sitting at the moment. Just depending on how things shake out when we start. But I definitely believe we're one of the most talented teams in the league, and I definitely think we can probably push for a top 3 finish. But right now, where we're at with this group that's just come together, we're probably sitting at 4 or 5, I think, at the moment in my head. But I think we can definitely make a good push. We've got such a deep team, and we're so good defensively that I think even with all this star power that's come into the league, I think we should be able to hold our own against some of the best teams in the comp. So, I mean, to answer your question, yes, I do think we can win the NBL1 East for sure. Yep.
No, definitely. I kind of literally agree with you. I kind of was swinging between sort of that 4 to 7 mark, just on the fact that, the competition has gone stronger. But last season, man, you were one of the best well-coached squads. You all played to your strength, and bro, just seeing the ball move, the way you guys play defense, everything like that. Have big sort of expectations of you guys this season, and I can't wait to get that covered. And that pretty much wraps up the show for today. Round 1 in Canberra, bro. You got to get excited for this road trip, bro. You got to win all these games.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely really important to get wins on early in the board, for sure. But we didn't do very well away last year. We obviously won all our home games during the regular season, so we've definitely got to get better at playing on the road. And it obviously starts this weekend against the young kids at COE, and it's definitely going to be a tough one. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be good.
Beautiful. Well, I want to thank you for your time. One of my favorite hoopers to watch in the NBL1 East, and can't wait to see what you sort of provide us and entertain us with this season.
Cheers. Thanks, SJ.
Thank you.